Hey, welcome to Automat Live Coding. This is the stream where we write a game automation app called Automat. Okay, you have to ignore this. For some reason, whenever I fire up VS Code, I type the command for the first time, VS Code interrupts it and runs some other, like source, blah, blah, blah. Totally bizarre thing. Why is it interrupting my commands? This is Automat. This animated visual programming environment. You get rid of all of those things. They are not really interesting. Or maybe they are a little bit. So what you do in Automat, you make macros. And the easiest way to do a macro is with a macro recorder. Let's do a spiral. Like that. So you can see I made this nice shape. This is the shape that I made. I can play this and you will see that kind of executes. And then we'll move down and click. It even clicked itself. So, you know, a macro like this has to be kind of edited. I can cut this section. We'll actually cut it. So that it starts on the first flame and kind of ends kind of instantly. I see some graphical glitches here. Anyway, and I will get rid of this object. I don't need it. When I play this macro, it moves my mouse in this shape. Instantly, it's possible to hook this up to a hotkey. So when I press, for example, tilde, you know, the like 1 or Q. Now when I press Q, see, this activates. I can connect it to my macro and yeah, there's a hotkey connected to a macro. And you can see there are more of those cables, so you can do all sorts of funny stuff, like you can create loops, which will run forever. You don't want that. Loops that run forever are kind of... You make it hard to use your computer when your mouse kind of jumps like that. What are we going to do today? There is a pretty cool, pretty cool system within Automat, which is called synchronization. Let me first create a copy of a timer. So I'm just creating a simple loop right now. Those are two timers in sequence. I can have this switch, right? Switch can be flipped on and off. Nothing crazy. I can synchronize the state of this timer with a switch. So, you know, whenever the timer is active, the switch is on. So it's a switch connected to a timer. But there is a cool new mechanism in Automat which allows you to use multiple multiple boards. So I can put the same switch. This is the same switch. This is a clone. When I drop it, you will see it will jump back. So I can grab this clone, I can put it on a separate board, and here I can forget about those timers. Now it's a magical switch that just flips itself on and off constantly. There is some hidden logic here. The hidden logic is here, so it's not very hidden. It's kind of just out of the view. You do not have to look at it constantly. Now, the plan for today is to improve the visual feedback that Automat gives when you hold the clone. This sort of feedback, where you have like a dashed line and a dashed line and around that another object, it's awful. It's just terrible. It cannot look like that. This is a low effort visualization that stochastic parrot, which I used to write this, came up with. But it's really bad. We have to replace it with something nicer. So that's the plan for today. But before we jump into the visual coding, by the way, I can also do small. Actually, no. I will show you something other, something different. It's also cool. Okay. Yeah. Why would we write in Emacs externally when you can use Emacs within Automat? So the plan is to this vertical bar is annoying. Do some research into the effect that I'm looking is something that I actually wasn't able to create so far. There is this black hole. See? This black hole, it's supposed to suck stuff in. So I want to have a visual effect that will show this kind of sucking in animation. I think the key to this effect is displacement maps. Displacement maps are super cheap, super fast. They can be used to create absolutely insane visual effects. So this is part of the plan, and then we want to implement this. Implement this as a shader. And also, before we do this, I have one small thing, a loose end that I need to tie up first. And this is that I just have too many computers where I'm working on Automat. So when I switch between them, there is a little bit developed here, a little bit there. And there are also VMs where I keep the cages, where I keep parrots. So I need to pull some changes from my laptop. Yeah. So that is the plan. That is the plan. By the way, I will be surprised if Automat doesn't crash and lose this data. But yeah, Automat may crash, it will crash. It's still in this early phase where it still crashes. I have some plans to make Automat not crash at all, but they have to wait. We will not do them today. Okay. Move the camera maybe. I guess that's better. Okay, pulling the changes from Win32. So let me see, is this laptop still working on something? Okay. Maybe I can actually show you a better use of your time. Okay. Can I? No, I cannot. No, my setup is too rigid. I would need some kind of KVM switch or something to switch to laptop recording. Have an HDMI splitter or something like that. No. Okay, I will do this quickly. Actually, let's do this from Automat. Let's it stopped Kitty. Come on. I disconnect it. Take this out and delete this. Okay, so this funny shape, this represents a running process. This is the terminal which runs here. There is a similar process for Emacs. You can put it here. This PID can be used to close Emacs. So now I can safely get rid of those things. Okay. I have this. Let me run it like that. I am not logged in. I will do this on a separate screen. Give me a sec. Okay, for whatever. Okay, they are probably signing me out because people are, I guess, sharing accounts, which is a good idea. People should share accounts. For their, AI subscription. I used to work on account security, and whenever I see that I am being signed out, it's always a sign something of some disaster that happened on the other side. Because one thing that you do, if you have a compromise, if your backend server, which is storing, for example, OAuth tokens, is compromised, the first thing you do is you revoke those tokens. So when I see that I have been signed out, it probably means there was a screw up at the company which manages the OAuth, and they had to basically revoke and sign everybody out. Normally you wouldn't want to do that. Wonderful. Wonderful. Blah, blah, blah. The fun thing, so this is the virtual machine where the parrot is running. This is a mount so that it can interact with my sources. Let me see if I do not have anything important. Good. More things. This is nice music. Very calming. Okay. Should also be able to git logging. Okay, so while the parrot works, we can check out some cool shaders. Let's look for displacement. Video glitch. Like this is the kind of stuff that you can do with very simple, very cheap displacement effects. I'm actually not sure if this looks cheap. This looks cheap though. It's probably some per pixel math. We are not interested in this. This is interesting. There is a base image that is being displaced here. Let's do 1 point up. Let's lower it. So that we can see the underlying image a little bit better. Yeah, this is how it looks. It's a fun effect. Oh, this is actually using multiple channels. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's leave it. I actually do not want to use multiple channels. This is probably why it was... Multiple channels essentially give you a sort of a memory for your shader. You can create, textures, and they can... You can essentially use them as a memory to store stuff. Water ripple, simple water ripple. Interesting, rounding square. Nice. And I'm looking for a different kind of displacement. I'm looking for something that stretches. How is it going? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Actually, those commits are pretty decent. You know what's a crazy thing I could do? I could actually open VS Code in Automat. Oh, but Automat runs within VS Code. Probably should not do this. That would be fun if I could somehow capture this window. We can do this kind of stuff on Windows, but not so much on Linux, because Linux is there is much more security theater going on. So I guess it would be possible, but it would be a lot of effort. While it works, let's continue looking for a good stretching effect. We can probably guess how it would look. Actually, can we play with displacement effects in Krita? Sure. New layer. Filter layer. No. Transform mask? No. Transform mask it's a very weird term. I don't know who came up with this. There should be a displacement blend mode, really. The idea is that every pixel can sample not below itself, but from another section of the image. This effect wave, this is a displacement thing. I do not see this anywhere. GIMP may be able to do this. Let's check this one. This is a nice effect. This is probably also a displacement filter, but it's applied not to an actual texture, it's applied to a procedural grid. Dispersion is also a fun effect. The only idea is that you do a slightly different offset per channel. And yeah, the effect is amazing. I think we should do this. We should totally do this. So for each channel, we will use a slightly different displacement. I think this texture okay, it's using another texture. Why? So we are first sampling this funky texture using U, which is just a normalized coordinate last time. We are taking two channels. Okay, this looks kind of like a noise. Very slowly moving noise. Or not so slowly. I think we can remove this. The displacement should really stay. Not sure if it will stay. Okay, we still have our displacement. Oh, it's not sampling 3 times. It's bloody sampling 100 times. Interesting. I don't think you have to sample a texture 100 times to get a good effect. You could probably reduce this. Let's do like 10. Yeah, it's still decent. And actually, even fewer still look fine. Something like that. Those are 3 samples, really. And you get the displacement effect. It's not so smooth, you know, as this one, but still there. The idea is that each... Yeah, I actually haven't seen the channel map there, but I'm sure it's there. The nice property of displacement is that it can duplicate pixels, so a pixel can appear in multiple places on screen. Okay, this change is the, I think, Win32 window manager. Yep. This window manager, I actually reviewed this carefully. I think I can skip this annotation. Mostly. And this is temporary code. It's going to be removed in the next commit. Not important at all. I would love to show you the Windows window manager, but I don't have a Windows machine connected to streaming. But the basic idea is that works the same. You can run apps within Automat. The difference is that you can pop them out, and then you get like Windows is just working slightly differently than Linux, so you cannot fully capture the app. You can only kind of get a feed of its textures with a delay. I'm so happy with this shadow effect. I improved it. This is the third shadow effect in Automat. Use more unique pointers. That's a good thing to do. I already reviewed all of this. I shouldn't be checking this. Really? Come on, did it with me? What's that? Better key map management. This is the commit that I really like. Ripples are very easy. Oh, this is a cool displacement. This looks like the predator effect. This is actually how glass would behave, kind of. You can see how simple it really is. This is how you do displacement. It's so ridiculously cheap, this effect. I think I should bookmark this one, because this really shows how simple technique it is. It's actually less characters now. This is decent. This is more than decent, but oh yeah, okay, this is a pretty crazy effect. It has the Navier-Stokes simulation. It's not just a simple displacement map, it's a liquid simulation plus displacement map. Still pretty cool. And it runs on the GPU. So yeah. But this is basically the same effect, I think. This one has one extra buffer. Could also apply the chromatic aberration to this one. Oh, it already has chromatic aberration. Okay. And this is not exactly what we need. We need a more controllable effect. Directional blur. This is interesting. D and noise 2. Yes, it looks very trippy. Yeah, I think we'll have to design something ourselves. It's probably no prior art. It has to be prior art. Oh, no ripples, please. Enough ripples. Okay. Maybe I can... Yes. I finally am happy with how we process key events in Automat. So I really like this change. And the keyboard is now split into two components. There is a keyboard widget and a keyboard object, which is also a very good development because it really shows how the keyboard works under the hood. So the keyboard object is a representation of a physical device that is plugged into your computer. So now within Automat's memory, we have a proper object that represents a physical keyboard. So if you open like multiple windows for Automat, but you still have a single keyboard, the single keyboard is essentially like one object in memory that's sending events to either of those two windows. And if you want to interact with this keyboard somehow, you can interact straight with this, object, virtual object. Okay. And the final commit is about emoji support. Of course, Automat needs emojis. I think this is perfect. On this? Yes, I can. Interesting. A register can be in this funny mode where you can type in the register. I think it would be fun if you could enter an emoji into a register. It has a limit of only 8 characters, but oh yeah, we have this heuristic which tries to guess if the cursor has moved after typing text, so the cursor actually stays in place often. Well. Okay, this is the last commit. Just want to check something. It's just 5 megabytes. I love this. I love this. So emoji font. Emojis typically are massive. They are really huge. Because a lot of the emoji fonts, they contain bitmaps. But the plan for Automat is to actually not use bitmaps. I mean, we will use bitmaps, of course, in many places, but emojis can be vector images. That's fine. Yeah, 5 megabytes, it's acceptable size for the binary. Those are Windows-related changes. They work on Windows, trust me, but they probably broke Linux build, so... We do this, commit and sync, and at this point, Automat is probably broken, so if I stop it, you'll probably not be able to start it again. But our parrot runs on a VM, this VM, so I can just tell it to fix Automat.
It's Veltrox says,
Hey!
Hey!
Bro, you look so pro in this.
Thanks. So the parrot is supposed to get it to work, and in the meantime we are going to play with the shader.
What are you doing?
What I'm doing, I am writing this program here. This is an automation environment where you can build tiny machines, and so this is, for example, a loop with 2 timers. See, this is a timer. I can run it, and I can connect 2 timers to make a loop. And it has all sorts of funny...
Wow, looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, this is how programming should have looked from, you know, the get-go. This is what programming looks if you don't use any programming language. I mean, what it could look, because this is not very capable still. Okay, so our changes have been pulled. Research. Let's continue with the research. Let's give it a chance. Maybe there are some good shaders that stretch stuff. Because displacement map that's supposed to take one object and stretch it across the screen, it's actually not that crazy. It's a linear gradient, basically. Golden ball. Or something like that. Oh, no, no. Ah. I was hoping this is something more primitive, but this is another of those Navier-Stokes. Yeah. Or secret buffers. We don't want that. We want no extra buffers. Okay, I can parameterize it somehow here. Or not. I cannot. Shockwave transition. This is interesting. And this is a nice shader. And this is a nice one. Let me sign in. I need to favorite this one. It is... It's wonderful. This one. The stuff that's happening at the edge. Can I pause it? I will slow it down. Yeah, now we can watch in detail what's happening here. I think it's doing some kind of hyperbolic jump. Probably some something like gravity. Not gravity. Probably computing just distance to a circle and using this in denominator. Scale the vector. It's our circle. This is distance from circle. Oh, sine. It's using sine. Okay. Still, very nice one.
I don't get it. What is the pro?
Okay. I want to check some other indirect texture. What is this supposed to mean? It's just a simple wobble. Oh, it's using other texture to look up the first one. Okay, what is happening here? We have this Voronoi. Oh, that was a nice effect. This is using the same trick that this is using, but with different textures. Let's do 12. I'm thinking what kind of displacement I want, and I think something that's wobbly would be nice. No, it seemed to work. This is a classic effect. Okay, this okay, there are some more displacements here. Change the video. Very nice shader, very nice. Actually, I should probably use something similar to this for the glitch effect in Automat. We'll start. This is a cool idea. So that instead of having displacement directly in the UV space, we go from UV to some kind of polar coordinate or some other wonky coordinate system. We do the displacement in this wonky system and then we go back to the UV.
Hugo Schmitten, 1772, says,
It's like an interactive game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The point of Automat, it's for doing macros in games, really. If there is a game like a gacha game or some kind of repetitive game where you have to constantly repeat the same action, this is the use case for Automat. Like Skyrim, I was, for example, playing Skyrim a lot with this. I was playing Black Myth Wukong, and on the first levels, I just left it for a couple of days until the level of my character went to, I think, 70-something. Basically, it's a tool for grinding in games. I am going to start this one because I love the idea here. The idea is so strange, it's hard for me to even think what it could be used for. Polar coordinates in particular. And, he's using arbitrary 0 point. 0 point is probably somewhere here or somewhere, I don't know. But this could be used to create those transitions which kind of sweep in arcs.
That looks like. If you could repurpose as a way to control our AI agents. Aha! People would be all over D.
There is no AI. There is no AI. Maybe there will be. probably makes sense to put some AI somewhere, but that would kind of defeat the point. The point is to make it nice to use and not to have some AI use it for you. So, but I see the value in having some AI assistant. Ghost, that looks cool. It looks really cool. What the hell? It's just using some pre-computed buffer as the source, and this buffer. Okay, this is absolutely insane shader. So we have a buffer here, we have our texture that we are sampling, and we have some noise in channel 2. Noise sample iChannel 1, it should be iChannel 2, I think. Okay. Because otherwise, what's the point of having this texture at all? Exactly. I would like to see what's in this buffer, but I don't know how to use. And please. Oh, I have one issue. It's that whenever I open Automat, all of the external windows also open within Automat. Makes the, I mean, this is kind of multi-desktop because I have those boards. I can put Emacs here and then move it elsewhere. We are normalizing, we are taking, so this is the normalized distance from the center. This is a step that, smooth step. I do not remember the signature of smooth step, but I guess this is what creates this circle here. Yeah, I broke it. I'm just trying to normalize this circle. Wind. Okay, wind is a simple noise, low frequency noise. Interesting. So it's mixing the actual image at each point plus some displaced image. It keeps recovering a little bit every time. So we can decrease the wind strength by doing this, increase it by doing this. Nice. Very cool. I did start this. Actually, I'm thinking that those polar coordinates displacement in polar coordinates, this is the key to a good kind of swirly animation which sucks something into a black hole. So a window sucked into a black hole. Will not be just sucked in a straight line, it will actually follow some spiral. I think this is a very cool idea. Check 1 or 2 more pages. The challenge in all of those distortion effects is to not to apply them just everywhere, is to have some control over them. Stretch maybe? Let's look for a stretch. This is a cool one. This looks interesting. I wish I was better at math to understand this. What's happening here? Once people start using Z for variable names, you know they are serious. This is probably a sign of complex math. Complex as in complex numbers. Texture advection, nice. You have different parts of the texture rotating at different speeds. Oh, and it's a single step. Whoa. Okay, so every 6 seconds there is a cycle. That's a clever thing. That's a very simple solution. Rounded box. Sorry, this is not on topic, but it's a rounded box. I think Inigo makes some better SDFs or 2D boxes. 0 example. Nice. Actually, this one had some description. It's actually very little code. Oh. Okay, we need to start with a new shader. Let's add some texture so we have something to work with. Maybe a video, why not? Good. I actually haven't used GLSL in quite some time. Blah, blah, blah. Should be. Okay, that was good. I should normalize this. How did you do normalization? Something like this, maybe? Okay, I think this is now properly normalized. I've watched her kind of being horizontally stretched for so long that it's kind of hard to tell if this is the correct aspect ratio or not. Let's try maybe something like this font. Yeah, the font looks very good. With this, change the wrapping. Yeah. Something like that. So we have the horizontal axis, which goes from 0 here to 1 here, and vertical, which has like 0 somewhere here and 1 here. That's fine. length. No overloaded function. Of course. Okay, so this is our first center. Let's move it up. Center 2 is going to be on the right. Okay, now I would like to stretch this image in such a way that the blue dot should be pulled towards the red one. And the technique is to do the... So I want the UV that I'm probing, I need to add the displacement. That's the whole thing. Do like this. Right, so it wobbles. Yeah, those are all the funny displacement effects that you've seen so far. But we are not going to just add this willy-nilly. We need to think about how to construct this. I would like this blue point be... I would like to have 0 here. I would like to have also 0 here. And the points along this line, they should have negative values. Actually, no. The point along between those two circles should have positive values, so they are sampled from this circle. So the shape of this function I need to scratch. Okay. Let's say this is our red. Let's change the axis to white. And the other one is the green circle. Let's call this the victim. This is the brave astronaut, or blue. This is blue. That's being pulled into the black hole. So we want the displacement to be 0 at those points, and positive between, because positive is going to be added here. So we're going to sample from the green circle. And so this is one case. If the situation looks differently, and they are swapped, this line is going to be our displacement. We swap them. Then this should look like that. And this is just a rough shape of this function. The idea is that, yeah, I should basically take center 2 minus center 1, kind of. This gives me the sign and the magnitude of the effect, and I need to make sure it has zeros at the right positions, times UV minus center 1 times UV minus center 2. So those components here, they ensure that the function is going to have 0 at those positions. Okay, it compiles, but does it look correct? Let's see. UV plus displacement, which is an error. I deleted something important. Okay, the displacement is totally invisible. Or maybe is visible. Let's actually put this on the see how it looks. We do not see anything. Or maybe we do. See, there is this red band in here. This is because, yes, the displacement is negative here. Let's put an absolute value here. Scale it a little. So this is how it looks. There is something happening in the green channel, and there are some crazy things happening outside our section of our displacement region. I think maybe there is another function I could use this instead of multiplying by a linear function. Maybe I could multiply this by something else that hits 0 at this position. But if I comment this out and just scale the displacement up, something's not right. Let me change the image, maybe easier to see. Use something like the city. Where is the city? London. Okay, this point stays in place, and this point also stays in place. Sweet. This is what we want. those points are stable, but actually animate them. I will stop animating this strength. Let's keep the strength at, let's say, 3. Okay, I think I know what we need to do. We need to normalize the displacement so that we don't have any strength at all. It's just normalized to put... Okay, the shape of this function is kind of important. Right now it's actually looking kind of like that. It's, I think, hyperbole. Sorry, parabole. Different values. Let's put this in a helper variable t so that I can slow the time. Now the time is kind of passing slower. So now we can see the values of the displacement. Needs to be normalized, yes. Okay. Find the maximum. When we are exactly between them, it's half of the length. So we have length by 2 here, length by 2 here. Actually, no. That's the problem. This is not a linear thing. We are working separately in both coordinates. Okay, I need to put some silly dots. Syntax error. Dimension mismatch. Oh yes, because strength is different in every in both directions. Actually, instead of having strength here, okay, I can remove this times 10. Okay. It's a pretty insane displacement. Actually, this should be enough. They just need to increase the distance a little. This is the maximum. I think the normalization works. Oh, maybe the sign is messed up of this normalization. Sign, they should cancel. This is always positive. I'm trying to contain this displacement so that it doesn't leak outside. Okay, now it's actually, this is part of the problem. Maybe this should be length. Ah. Let me see how the picture looks now. There is some displacement in between those dots, but it's hard to say that one of them is being kind of sucked into the other. It's not quite the effect I'm going for. Okay, let's try using length. Suddenly everything became more kind of funky. Okay. Now the function looks more like this. Maybe good. Maybe this is fine. The problem is that we are hitting those 0 points only when we are in the middle between those circles. Oh, there should be... No. Comment this block. See how it looks overall.
Karma Shack says,
Hi.
Hey,
What is this?
this is shader development. I'm trying to create a good shader that's going to help me with animating clones. So in Automat, it's a long story, we have this visual programming environment which allows me to clone objects, and those objects, when they are dropped, they kind of match back into their original. The visualization is kind of crappy right now, so I'm trying to figure out something that could maybe help here. That instead of just, this springy snapback, so that you can have a better animation. Right now, I'm at this stage.
What is this tool? Is that your own OS?
Kind of, yeah. Decrease the strength of this displacement.
Nice. Good work. I hate shaders.
To me, they are like one of the most important things in programming is the feedback. The feedback after you type something, it needs to be instant. So compilation, this is the first thing to automate. Like when I code, I just wanted the program to constantly compile and see the results. And shaders, they're not the nicest kind of thing to develop, but they are very good at latency. As you are developing them, you kind of immediately see the effect, the stuff that's happening. And it's kind of fun because you can visualize a lot of things kind of nicely here. Lower this to 2 maybe. Or 1, whatever.
In JS developer. So in brain-rooted, Barstwy.
Oh, JavaScript also has this property. It's like you refresh a page and you immediately see the result. If you haven't worked with compiled languages, you don't feel the pain.
Says, hello, Creature777. This is a reminder that TTS only works in English.
What kind of message is that? Yeah, my TTS anti-spam bot activated.
Onashak says,
Okay.
Nice. I had no idea it would be able to pronounce this.
Not only English B2W.
Yeah, the restriction is kind of mostly for the Polish language, because I'm Polish and lots of people try to talk to me in Polish, and nobody will understand this besides, me and the other person. I think I'm having an idea of how to fix this thing here. And the solution is simple, really. I hope it's simple. It's that I will just multiply this by some kind of ellipse. I will have a radius. So when the 2 points... Yeah, I will just create an ellipse around those 2 points and multiply everything by the distance from this ellipse. And those 2 centers, they are the focal points of the ellipse, and maybe length times 2 is the radius. let me do the... So, if... Let's call this L1. I'm going to use this. I will obviously need L2. You say L1, you gotta say L2. It's less than diff times 2. Diff. I'll add the multiplier later. Only defined for scalars. Yes. Len.
Is that white circle the focal point of your eyes?
Yeah. This is an eye tracker. Okay. I can have something like that. Or not. I have even better idea. Instead of some funky ellipse, you'll just do a circle, which has 1 in the center, 0 at the edges, and multiply by that. And that's going to remove all of the artifacts from the outside the two spheres. I hope. Yeah, because I don't think the spheres should be pushed out. Layer far away. Let's call this mask. Trying to do this and divide by 2. So this is the center point. This center point needs to be subtracted from UV, or UV from this. Okay. I need this mid. So this is the length. So it starts with 0 and then increases. Radius is going to be equal to length times half. Now this has 0 in the center, 1 at the edge, and I can actually visualize this now. Undeclared identifier, yes. Okay, the blue channel now contains the correct information, almost. Use of this. So this is our displacement. How it looks. I put this here. Looks kind of strange. I think this needs some smoothing. I could just square this. Yeah, it's too bad it's not the effect that I'm looking for. So it blends nicely with the image around at the edges. Or maybe it is good enough. I will add some smoothing. Now this, because I added this multiplication here, it doesn't have a sharp point in the center. Like now it has a very, it looks like a cone. If you imagine that this is a piece of glass that creates kind of a, I don't know how it's called, this kind of displacement. It looks like it has a very sharp center. So by doing this square, it can be tapered off. There is a 0 here, so it makes this kind of smooth around 0.
Like the spoon.
It seems to have a dot, but it's a small thing now. And lower this effect. Now it looks like it's pulling something, right? But the pull is strongest in here, in the center. And I think I have a solution. I think I can just move this behind the blue dot, so that the pull is kind of strongest where the blue dot actually is. And I think by animating this,
Yeah, like black holes.
there's this parameter that controls the strength. I think I could animate it based on the distance. I will do this in Automat, not in Shader Toy. But this is something that could cause this wobble effect that I would like. And I could probably even maybe make it negative. Then, kind of pushes out. Yeah. thinking about this, I think I'm maybe complicating this a little. So the displacement, maybe it should not have a 0 and the blue circle. It should actually be with the maximum value there. Let me see this. I will create a copy of this. Let's remove this 0. Here. And also this. And also see the rocks again. Displacement is maximum here. Get rid of the mask. So there is the point at which I am holding the object. I think it should not be displaced. So there needs to be this 0 point. Visualize this. Okay, there it is. Okay, and I'll make some coffee. I'll be right back in, I don't know, 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back, and I have a new idea. The new idea is that maybe this... Maybe this 0 point should be here. At the blue dot, but I'm actually kind of thinking that maybe I do not need the one at the red dot. So maybe I can remove this L1 from the equation. Okay, I just recompiled it, and there is almost no difference. There is a little bit of difference, maybe. See, the strongest point is kind of here. Here. Let me bring back the image. I actually think this could work nicely. Me something very quickly. I think I can grab the mouse position somehow. There is some mouse. Okay, normalize this. Yeah. Let's increase this length 0.7. Okay, and this is actually a very good way to test this. I've placed the blue dot in the center of the sign, so we can see those mirror images that are popping up. There should actually be no mirror images, so something's wrong. I think something like that would be better. There is just one mirror image now in the very center. I also place this now on this bus, this red bus. You can see this red bus is at the very center between those 2 points is a mirror copy of the bus. I would like to make this function even smoother. This bus should be really pulled into this red one. So maybe I'll do this so it's easier to parameterize. Center one. And increased. Would also maybe lerp. See how it looks. So now there is a mirror of the bus in the center of the circle. There are so many discontinuities, not discontinuities, like the function flips too much in between. Remove mask, and this is how it looks. A mask is kind of necessary, but without mask, the sign is kind of stretched perfectly smoothly. It's kind of pulled into the red dot. I feel we are very close. We are very close to the effect I wanted. The key is mask. Mask, it just has to be applied kind of properly. Those functions, this block can go away. It's definitely not going to be useful. I'm thinking about what's the right kind of mask to apply. This is totally the black hole effect. The red dot is kind of pulling all the image towards this kind of line. And I really like that it's pulling, it feels like it's pulling stronger on the sides. It's cool, very cool. And the code is incredibly simple, which is what displacement always produces. Okay, mask. Still one thing, kind of nice to fix. Maybe to yeah, when I lower the displacement even a little bit, it's still very nice. And now you can see, yeah, it's stretching almost to the center. This way I can preserve the kind of image a little bit. It's not a line slightly smeared over. Okay, so my mask should have one along this line. It should fade to 0 around the edges. Okay, I think it's time to bring back the ellipse. What was the math for ellipse? 1 plus 2. this is our mask. In the blue channel. It's in the green channel, actually. Looks actually very reasonable. Now I need to have something that know the value in the center, in the focal points. And at the edge, to properly normalize this ellipse thingy. Okay, so this is the maximum value. Something that decreases with the distance. Minus 1 minus 2. I'm just trying to visualize, should effectively produce a very thin line connecting the two dots. As this goes to 0, it will effectively become a line. It's a fun way to draw a segment. Just make it a circle. An ellipse with very small very high aspect ratio. Okay, so I just normalized it so that it has 1 directly here, those points. And should go to 0 actually, yeah, here. Looks nice. This is what I'm going after. This also looks pretty trippy. This green glow connecting the 2 dots. I see. I need to clip this. Like that. It's not looking super smoothly. Same trick, we can square it. Oh. Or cube it. And now we have a nice pulling animation. Yeah, this is our displacement pull. And it works correctly. I can put this on the sign, and the sign is now pulled into the red dot. This bus or this lady here. And when it's small, it actually scales perfectly now. Make it less or more, and decrease the strength by just decreasing this parameter here. When I put 1 here, the stretch becomes fully linear. No, not linear, like constant. Basically the point I'm stretching from is being pulled straight into the red circle. Let's actually put some animation here. Interesting. When it becomes negative, this starts pushing its neighborhood apart, kind of towards this blue dot, I think. Kind of not fully. Can change the video now. Let's check how it looks with Britney. Some others, like this dude. It's good acting. Want to see the displacement mask again? Looks so good. I had no idea this is the effects should look, and we are not yet finished. Oh no, no, now we are going to make it cool. So this now needs to go through some Perlin noise with BM, this kind of cloud-based iterated noise, which will create sort of like a wave pulling something in animation. Webcam. Let's go back to London. London was very easy to work with. This pool, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Wow. Even kind of stops at this position. When this red dot moves, it's like it cannot stretch this any further than that. save this as this wasn't such a bad idea. First I need to give edges. The orange one. And I want to inline some of the values I think I may be using just in places. For this norm. I really need to memorize how to properly normalize the eye resolution diffract chords. Oh, there was our mouse. Save it as again. I really need to save this shader because it's looks like shader 2 is about to lose it. Yep, just as I thought. And this is, like I said, just the first step. I really like, I don't know why it's pulling sides. It feels like it's pulling sides slightly stronger. Yeah, definitely. And this is working very nicely. And the stretch is kind of linear. It's not creating any ghost images in between. This is amazing. This is amazing. We will create ghost images now. Mm. I'm looking at this library of noise functions, but they are just insane. Looking for something simple, really. Yeah, something like that. Namoct 5. Yep. Very simple now. Displacement plus equals FBM of UV. I think we need a 3-dimensional BM. I guess let's get this down. That's how it looks now. Chippy, but I wanted to make this kind of move towards the center. There is a way to do this. I think I need to sample FBM from FBM. Okay. Things are happening. It's also at time here, maybe. Okay, this is kind of far away from where we were. I think maybe we need to normalize this somehow. So this should be... We should have a sign in the center. So let's actually remove everything outside of this. Let's see if we can normalize just this part. It's already not normalized. It's going pretty crazy, actually. Okay. Same function, but now we have a better control over the strength. I guess FBM goes from 0 to 1. Now it goes from minus half to half. And this makes it even smaller. Not actually that bad. This is too much. Something like that. Looks trippy. this out. It's getting kind of complex. No operation. Yes, I forgot the dot. This is silly. So I need to add the time somewhere here. This looks kind of Ripley. I'm not sure if this is what I want. What's the way to create waves that kind of go somewhere? Instead of using SBM, you can also create just waves, just sine waves going in this direction. When this out. Now it definitely is pulling something. The pulling animation is totally there now. This is actually how it's going to probably look in Automat. So, not bad, not bad. Oh, it's just the direction of this pull is wrong. So L2 is just a number. I-time is a scalar as well. It's a scalar. So it's actually displacing things in random direction. I think we should actually multiply this by the direction. Now it's absolutely sucking in this sign. This is kind of killing the displacement. Or maybe I do not need the deer here. Okay, there are two ways to modify it. Yeah, this is the other one. This one doesn't need direction. This is really suddenly not pulling the sign at all. Use L1 here. Yeah, there are many ways to combine this. There is this additive way. I think this multiplicative is kind of nicer. You can see that it even gets smaller. It moves as the additive. Multiplicative. This multiplicative is nicer. It kind of rips parts of the sign and pulls them in. Problem is that it kind of makes the whole image very wobbly. This displacement, this waviness, it also needs a mask. It should honestly probably stop here. This effect should stop halfway through. The mix function, x, y, and a. So this is x. Y is going to be 1. And this is going to be the distance from this. Okay, I think this is it. The waviness now is strictly around the start point. It disappears. Yeah, halfway through. Maybe smooth step. Maybe I want smooth step. It's going from 0 to 1, exactly what I want. Okay, I think this is better. The effect is strongest here. There's one strength here at the origin, and halfway through it goes to 0. Then move it. so that it decays at this exact point to 0. I actually think we could add some of this noise back. Yeah, this noise is probably not adding much. I will skip this. Yeah, turns out we do not need noise. Honestly, this displacement is the better version of Anchor Warp I wanted to do. Almost. It's very close. I like that the black hole pulls from this side, pushes on this other side. think the shader is ready. Turns out it's pretty simple. Like half of this code is shader toy related stuff, debugging and so on. When you actually put this in Automat, it's going to be half of the volume. Right then, I guess this is it. And next stream, which is going to be Monday, yes, I am streaming on Monday. We are going to put this effect into Automat. So that, hey look, it didn't crash. I streamed for like 3 hours and Automat kept running. Insane, insane. Anyway, we will put this effect here so that when we clone, the clones are going to have this insane effect applied to them. Right, I guess that's it. Have a nice weekend and see you Monday. Bye bye.